I asked you guys to shoot me some questions, and you guys did. So, as you can see, I'm non-stop on the road, always busy, in and out of town. So, what I did was answer your questions in every city I was in. Wherever I'm at, I try to answer some of your questions. So, here you have it. I hope I thoroughly explained everything you guys asked. And leave some comments down below. If you got more questions, shoot them down below. Anything that we've discussed, y'all want to talk more about, let's talk about it in the comment section. All right? Peace.
This question is from Able_A, Able_AZNPC. Hey Mike, in the physical switch to boxing, do you do anything different to keep your elbow joints and wrist prime that you were not doing before?
What's up, Abel? That's my boy. What's up, Abel? Yeah, I'm using a lot more arnica. It's a topical ointment. I have arnica on my site, on software.com. It's actually arnica and peppermint oil mixed together. It kind of numbs. It doesn't cure you, but it kind of numbs. I also take a super turmeric for inflammation, because the pain that I usually get, and I'm sure that you got too, is inflammation. Elbows, shoulders. But honestly, I haven't had as much pain as I did before, and I think a huge part of that is because I cut the meat out, you know what I mean? So that's it. That's the only difference, really. So give that a try. Cut the meat out, Abel. You already swole. You don't need it. So I fit right in, right? Hello,
that's
sir.
So they come in to check
Hello,
in.
sir. ID and credit card, please. Incidentals, yes, yes. Okay, looks like here, yeah, your card is declining. You have another form of payment. It's declining. You have to do it like this. It's like kind of get like, sir, it's.
The way that my account is set up.
Or y'all should act like you don't want to embarrass them and be like, it's declining. Right? You know what I mean? Like whisper.
I'll give it a try.
Right.
There you go.
So give me tips. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now you see the way my card is set up.
Yeah,
It's in my savings account.
The next question is from Frank Gaines. Frank Gaines asked, what was your first car? That's an interesting question, because my very first car, I don't even remember what it was, but because I only had it for a day, my dad found the car and took me to go buy it with my money I saved up. Went down the street to where it was at. It started fine, paid for it. This was when I was in college. Drove it. By the time I was driving to my dad's house, by the time I got to my dad's house, it blew a gasket. Arizona there's no lemon law or something like that, so it doesn't matter if people can sell you a lemon. It's up to you to get it checked and all of that stuff. So that was my first car. Lasted a day. Costed about $1,000. So then, when I got my grant money from school, then I bought my real first car, and it was, I forgot the year it was, but it was a Nissan Stanza, which they don't even make no more. But I think what's up, bro? It's what an Altima is or was, but it was just called a Stanza. And that car was so dope. I never got an oil change on that car. I put over 100,000 miles on that car. And I used to do like 140 in that car. I love that car. So I drove it literally until the wheels fell off. I fucked that car up. I was young, I didn't know better. What about you? What was your first car?
Damn. My first car was a Nissan Micra when I was living out in Sweden. I've been doing a lot of rentals in London. So, because the thing is, in London, you can commute really easy, and it's actually to your detriment if you have a vehicle. But obviously I'm relocating to the States, so I've heard in LA you can't get nowhere.
Nobody asked you all that. He's bragging now. He's bragging now. He's trying to let everybody know he's coming. He's bragging now. Joey, what was your first car?
Oh man, like a 1985 Toyota Tercel.
That was a good car
It
though.
was
Toyotas and Nissans were.
It lasted forever. I had to beat it up and it would still drive.
I was selling mine was a Nissan Stanza, and I had it for probably about 2-3 years and never got an oil change.
Oh
I
wow.
put over 100,000 miles on it.
Nothing happened?
It finally died, but I pushed it to the limit. I'm maxed out.
That's what's up.
I got my money's worth under that.
Yeah, those cars last forever.
Nissan is a good
Quality car.
Stanza.
I don't think they make those anymore. No.
I think it was the prelude to the Ultima.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? But my real first car was a Bentley Azure.
Who's bragging now? Who's bragging now? Shit, Bentley. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody gonna see no Bentley. Well, at least an average individual
I never
talking
had a
about Bentley. Come on, B.
Fucking with y'all, I never had a Bentley. Yo, alright, so I've been getting this question nonstop. And I want to answer this. Maogoree, Maogoree, that's on Instagram, said, what's your thoughts on Kanye West? And what he's referring to is the other day Kanye West said some things on TMZ that people deemed as controversial. He said something to the notion that, or what it seemed like, the soundbite was, we've been slaves for 400 years. That sounded like a choice, speaking to black people in America. And I think it was taken out of context because there's a longer version of that video, like a 35-minute version. I watched the whole thing, and I listened to him try to clarify himself at the end. And also I listened to what the girl Candace, how she broke it down on something else. And what he was trying to do was articulate what she was saying. He agreed with what she was saying. And I actually agree with what she was saying. And he's not saying that, well, I didn't take it as he was saying we chose to be under the conditions of slavery. It's more of when people are saying it now, yeah, but we went through slavery, like the complaining and the playing the victim. Now, it is true, and it's not addressed often in America that, what black people in America went through was on the level of the Holocaust. Because people talk about slavery, that's one thing, but the the transatlantic trip on the boats, over 1 million Africans died during that process, were killed, thrown overboard, or died because of the conditions of how we were on the slave ships. Just imagine, people are packed like sardines. Now, I'm in the United Kingdom. It was 10 hours to get here on a plane going 500 miles per hour. Imagine how slow boats are. Boats going that far, well, further, from the Ivory Coast of Africa all the way to the Caribbean. Just imagine how long that takes. And people are chained up and stacked next to each other like sardines. You have to urinate on who's in front of you, and who's in front of you is also defecating on you. You know what I mean? Sleeping and living in those conditions all the way over here, and then to be put under the condition of slavery, that's horrible, and it's not dealt with. And I don't live in the past, but I'm not gonna act like the past didn't exist. However, where we are now, 2018, there are opportunities for us. I feel like when we make it in this society, because we didn't start on an even playing field. We started with a huge deficit. So when we get to the even playing field and keep rising and do well for ourselves, I think that's an amazing achievement, to start from nothing and beneath nothing and come up. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody got the wherewithal to do that, and I understand that. But, for those that do, I think we need to change the narrative a little bit, get involved in local politics. Do you vote for your assembly members? Do you vote for your mayors? Do you vote for people on your school board? Do you vote for your sheriff? You gotta think about that, not just the presidencies and stuff like that. And also, the young people, we need y'all to be lawyers, to be police officers, to get in the military. You know what I'm saying? So we can't be, I don't like the whole polarization of any race. I don't, because me personally, I know that I'm looked at as a black man in America. I am technically a black man in America. But me personally, I don't deal with race like that. You know what I mean? So, and it's just my experiences with so many people all over the world. It just takes my mind out of that space, However, a lot of people deal with that, and I understand that reality. So with that being said, my message to black people: become lawyers, become police officers, get into politics. That's where the change comes from. The change is not coming from talking shit on the internet. The change is not coming from shitting on Kanye West. I give Kanye West props for not folding to the pressure. Everybody wanting him to apologize or fall back on right or wrong, whatever he feel, he's gonna put it out there in a raw, real way. And that's something that most people don't do, and I respect. I salute Kanye for that. What he was saying, I think his message needs to be refined. It needs to be more thought out before he says some shit, because nobody chooses to be a slave. But I do think that he was saying that people are choosing to adapt a victim mentality, right? And that's not a mentality that I adapt at all. So be strong, but with that strength, be active, like really active. No, the_real_Bo_Smith01. Bruh, so hard to get that. Anyway, his question is, what did it feel like when you walked out in your pro match? Like, what's going through your head? I was excited and I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I had a sense of peace though and calmness. Elijah was right here with me, walking me out. Jim Jones was right there with me. A lot of my friends was there, so it was a sense of comfort in that, but also a little bit of anxiety to do a really good job and not let anybody down. You know, everybody flew from all over the place to get there, and it would have sucked for everybody to come and I did not do a good job. So it was a little nerve-wracking, a little bit, but I was pretty calm. It felt good though, I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of emotions. I felt a lot of things at that moment, but you know, a huge sense of accomplishment, and I was kind of proud of myself, you know, because I set a goal and I seen it through. And the takeaway from that, for y'all, I hope, is to see you can set a goal, set a big goal. That was a huge goal for me, and do it. You seen me do it. I said I was going to do it last year. As we got closer, a deal came through for me to be able to do it, and I did it. I did the training, I did the preparation to go out there and do it. There's a lot of things I didn't tell y'all because I didn't want to give any excuses in case I lost. So I had an issue with my elbow, with the tendonitis. I couldn't really throw a jab. It was so bad that when I would miss a jab, the pain would be so intense. When I miss a real hard jab, the pain would be so intense that I couldn't do any training for like a week. My arm was like useless because of the pain, the inflammation. So I didn't tell anybody that. And it was a few little things that was not ideal for me going into that. But my word is my bond. When I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So, my left arm don't work, fuck it, I got this one. All I need is one. And that's what took him out of there, is one shot. But anyway, but that's just, I hope y'all can take away that. Fuck excuses. Now listen, sometimes things happen that will hinder you from getting to the set objective. If that's the case, you gotta be honest with yourself and with whomever else you shared this information with, and make adjustments. Just because you don't hit your goal when you plan on hitting your goal doesn't mean that you're not sticking to your word, or you're not a man of your word or a woman of your word. But you got to talk about it. Like, all right, guys, look, full transparency, et cetera, et cetera. But I was like, I'm not gonna not do this. So I went and did it anyway. So that's what I felt my first, when I turned pro and walked out to my fight. That was a good question. Thanks. Okay, so DJ Corey P asks, do you believe social media is the best/worst thing that has happened to society? What are your thoughts? I believe that social media is what you make it. Social media is not good or bad. It is just a tool. it could be used for a lot of good. Listen, I've used social media to create multi-million-dollar businesses, plural, right? I use social media to reach a lot of people at one time with messages that I want to convey, okay? So I think social media is a very good thing. I do think that some people are addicted to social media, and hey, I might be one of them, and I think it's mainly because, you know, what I do for work, like in the e-commerce space, social media is a huge tool, but there's some people that may be kind of addicted to social media just for attention, just for likes, and I don't think that's healthy. I've asked people before, like all the time, like, what do you post this for? Like, what is this for? You know, usually women, when they post ultra sexy or beautiful pictures, look, I like looking at it, but at the same time, it's like, well, what is this for, right? Some women are models, like actual models. They get paid to model, and they're marketing themselves, actresses, whatever. You don't have to have any real reason to post. You can do whatever you want to do, but I think it's just, it takes a lot of people's time and energy. I don't know, I feel like it's like you get 1,000 likes, 2,000 likes, for what? You know what I mean? For what? When it's just about, look at me, look at how good I am, I look. Like, what are you doing that for? Is it attention? That's not really real attention, is it? It's not personal human interaction. I don't know, I just think it's weird. I don't know. So that's a good question though. Maybe it's something that we can explore more. Maybe that's something that I can go in a little bit more in depth, a video. I think I'd like to do a video just about that, about social media. But I don't know. But I don't think social media is inherently good or bad. How you use it can be good or bad. It could be used for a lot of good. I mean, not just business stuff with me, but anything I need to study or to look up or to research, I can easily do it with Google. You know, I have a computer in the palm of my hands. So just think about this, the technology that we all have in our pockets. Back when NASA sent a spaceship to the moon, the computer, the supercomputer that was built, our iPhones are like 1,000 times more powerful than that. You know what I'm saying? So just to put a little something in perspective. But anyway, good question. And we will go deeper on that topic on a later date.